All right, good morning, everyone. It's going to be a beautiful day, regardless of the weather, whatever part of the world that you're in. Just to wake up and to have breath is such a gift. A lot of people, I think, take life for granted in a sense of not really appreciating these small little things that are with us in every moment, and one being the biggest thing is breath. So, when I hear people complaining about the weather, I internally kind of laugh because we're just so blessed to be able to wake up and enjoy and embrace all the different climates that that this world offers. But anyways, that's kind of just a little side note to what I really wanted to kind of discuss and talk to you guys about. A subject that I really feel passionate about and have done a lot of research and study and self-experimenting with is leaky gut. And if any of you guys have experienced food sensitivities and or your gut feels tight or inflamed, bloated, really sensitive to the touch, those are also signals that something's going on in the gut. And our gut is connected to everything within our system. So our gut is 70% of our immune system, and our immune system is over 80% of our brains. So when our gut is off, our immune system is off. And when our immune system is off, our brain is off. So it can create confusion, fogginess, depression, emotional thoughts of, why am I feeling like this? Like I said, it could create a lot of anxiety and all these different emotions that come with how your gut is feeling. So I've been experimenting with my own physical body for 10 plus years with food, nutrition, physical activity, and also kind of ups and downs within sobriety in a sense, meaning smoking, not smoking, drinking, and not drinking. And I realized that a lot of what we are accustomed to in this society is that we have had this idea that a lot of the social events are based around, maybe people going and grabbing a drink. I no longer drink and or smoke. And I've committed to that. I've committed to my internal healing and to healing my gut internally because truthfully, I did have leaky gut and I experienced all of those symptoms. I experienced the feelings of having a lot of inflammation in my body. I would wake up some mornings and my eyelids and my fingers and my toes were really swollen and tight. And I didn't really know what that was. I was like, okay, why do my hands feel puffy? And that's actually also a signal when I have any gluten, which I've been gluten-free for maybe over 3 years. But in those 3 years, there has been times where there has been a little bit and instantly I can know. I mean, for example, when I went to Thailand by myself in November of last year for 2 weeks. And one thing that being vegan and gluten-free in Thailand was definitely an experience because a lot of the sauces have fish oil and fish seasoning, which I don't do. And a lot of the sauces contain gluten and wheat, which I don't do as well. So that was definitely a learning experience and really challenging at times, but really beautiful in a lot of moments because I really overcame the obstacle of having to face that and what that was for me. But anyways, back to the leaky gut part. So I was having those symptoms of having inflammation within the fingertips, within the with having, you know, my gut being actually really sensitive to the touch. I remember there were these times and moments in my life where I would have to get up maybe 5 times, if not 10 times throughout the night to go pee, but like I wasn't really peeing. It was just like a lot of uncomfortability. And sometimes when I would have coffee in the morning, all of a sudden I would have this like swelling sensation in my hands. And a lot of my signals were definitely like this inflammatory reaction within my hands and in my gut, and this like really just like uncomfortable feeling inside. So as I obviously was experiencing all this uncomfortability, I said, okay, well, fuck this. I don't want to really feel like this anymore. I need to heal from the internal out, because I'm really into physical activity. I'm really into feeling really strong, but also being fit and looking fit and being in this body of feeling, you know, sexy and confident and all of those things. And I think that there was more emphasis on a focus of an external for some years, you know, probably more in my early 20s. Now that I'm going to be 30 in about 5 months, I've kind of come to a place where I said, okay, well, it's not really so much about the external anymore. Obviously, I love to, you know, feel confident in my skin and look sexy and fit and toned and all those yummy things. But at the same time, I'm coming from a different approach of internal healing and internal health. And that all started with healing my gut. So healing the gut is a big, big, big piece of healing the whole, healing the brain, healing the depression, healing the anxiety, healing the skin. All of these different things are all like connected to one another. And so I just wanted to share some really beautiful ways and tools and tips and tricks and wisdom with you guys about how I overcame and healed my gut, because I really have. I don't have any inflammation anymore when I have coffee. I can eat quinoa again. I didn't have quinoa for almost 2 years because during that time my gut lining was so sensitive that the quinoa was too rough, and like raw kale or things that were really rough to my system, like raw broccoli, it was like really hard for my body to digest because it was a little too like rough. So a lot of warm foods actually entered my life, and I was having a lot of like steamed broccoli or steamed cauliflower, or making really yummy warm stir fries that really were actually more gentle to my digestive tract and a little bit easier for me to digest in a whole thing. So one thing that if you're experiencing uncomfortability when you eat certain foods, I would first off say, okay, well, let's take those away for now. Again, when I remember like having to stop eating quinoa, I was really upset because I really enjoy the flavor of quinoa, and it's a great source of protein for me being vegan, and it's something that you can do such a wide variety of like meals with. Like you can have it cold with peas, and you can have it with, I make so many different things with quinoa now. It's like so exciting. So anyways, I definitely feel that when you are having those sensitivities to certain things, to acknowledge that and honor that and say, okay, as much as I really enjoy having you and I love this, I'm going to actually honor my body more, and I'm going to say no. So I'm going to stop having coffee. I'm going to maybe stop having quinoa, maybe stop having raw, coarse, harder to digest foods, and incorporate things that are really going to aid in helping healing the gut lining. And then once it's healed, you can incorporate those foods back into your life, and it's not going to have the same effect because you're not going to have the same reaction because your gut is going to be healed. So overall, the definition of what leaky gut is basically your gut has like a sac around it. It's kind of like if you were to look at like a balloon, and this lining of the balloon is supposed to be intact. And when you have leaky gut, what happens is there's actually holes that, just imagine that balloon, and the balloon not inflating but having holes in it. And so when you eat and you put food into your body. Your gut is supposed to digest it, and then it's supposed to disperse it to the different parts in your system that need to absorb those nutrients and minerals and vitamins. So it's like when you eat, say hypothetically, you know, spinach, you're gonna have spinach, and the protein from the spinach is going to go to this source, and the other, you know, iron and other benefits of spinach are gonna go to all these different places and pieces in your body, right? Your organs and things like that to help nourish it. But when you have leaky gut, what happens is that spinach is actually going inside of your bloodstream, because these holes are actually leaking out into your bloodstream. So when you have spinach and your body's trying to digest it, what it's also doing is it's actually leaking out of your gut, which is causing your body to be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why does my body have this? Why is my bloodstream having this feeling? Because ultimately it's not supposed to. So obviously one of the reactions to any type of illness, or I wouldn't say illness, but when your body becomes into a state of protection, it's gonna inflame, because inflammatory is actually your body signaling something's off. So when you have inflammation, it's actually saying, hey, I'm gonna try to protect you because something's going on, so I'm gonna inflame myself, so I'm gonna protect myself. So when there's things leaking out of your gut, like say hypothetically you have coffee, and coffee is a pretty strong substance, you put coffee into your system and it leaks out these holes in your gut lining, and it's going into your bloodstream's going to be like, whoa, what is happening? So it's going to blow up, it's going to get inflamed, it's going to cause inflammation. So that's kind of a little bit really short summary of like the idea of what leaky gut actually is. And then now, to heal the gut, there are many different aspects of doing it. One, like I said, is going to be removing things that are really not helping your gut and causing inflammation. So if you notice that anything's going on when you eat certain foods, alcohol, if you're, anything, if you're like kind of like, okay, your body's not really reacting in a good way, well then remove it for now. So that's the first step. Okay. The second step is incorporate fermented foods into your daily diet, meaning get some kimchi, get some sauerkraut. Raw sauerkraut is the best. There's all sorts of sauerkraut, but raw sauerkraut, from the research that I've done, is personally the most effective, and has the most probiotics and healthy bacteria that are going to actually kill the bad bacteria that are within your system. So I would definitely recommend getting some good kimchi and good sauerkraut. You can have that. One thing that I really started to enjoy is having a beet raw sauerkraut with avocado and pecans. Those three things, like the nuts and the fatty avocado and the sauerkraut, oh my God, it's so tasty. And you can have that like as a side dish. You can have that like as more of a garnish. But I do recommend the